It was a cold, cloudy afternoon in New York. The streets bustled with hurried cars, bright lights, and the constant symphony of horns. Among this chaos stood Emma Thompson, a 24-year-old woman with dreams that felt as distant as the stars. Her once bright aspirations of becoming an architect had faded, replaced by the daily grind of survival. Clad in a worn-out coat that barely shielded her from the biting wind, Emma stood at her usual spot near a busy traffic light, clutching a stack of Raffle tickets in her trembling hands. Emma's life revolved around these tickets. Each one represented a small, fragile hope of paying for her mother's medical care. Her mother, Mary, was battling a degenerative disease, and the weight of responsibility rested heavily on Emma's shoulders. The forced smile she wore didn't mask the exhaustion etched into her features. As cars sped past, some drivers spared her a glance, others a polite refusal, and most pretended she didn't exist. On the other side of the city, William Parker, the CEO of one of the largest tech firms in the country, sat in the backseat of his luxury car. Tall, with impeccably styled hair and a tailored suit, William embodied the success many aspired to. His days were consumed by business meetings, stock reports, and the relentless pursuit of perfection. Yet, as his car idled at a red light, his eyes were drawn to Emma. There was something in her demeanor, a mix of desperation and quiet determination, that captivated him. Before he knew it, he had rolled down the window. Holding out a $100 bill, he asked, "What are you selling?" "Raffles, sir," Emma replied, her voice shaky with disbelief that someone like him was interested. "To help my mother who's sick." William hesitated. Charity was nothing new to him, but something about Emma stirred a long-forgotten compassion within him. "Give me all of them," he said, taking the stack of tickets. The light turned green, and without another word, his car moved on, leaving Emma stunned, clutching the money and staring after him. The encounter haunted both of them. Emma couldn't stop thinking about the stranger who had bought all her tickets without a second thought. On the other hand, William found himself wondering about the young woman with the tired eyes and the determined spirit. He had long believed that his world of luxury and ambition was separate from the struggles of ordinary people, but Emma had shattered that illusion. Unable to shake the memory, William instructed his assistant, Tom, to find out more about her. Within hours, he learned everything. Her name, her circumstances, her mother's illness. It was all too much to ignore. "She needs a real opportunity," William said to Tom. "Find a way to help her. But don't make it feel like charity." The next morning, Emma received an unexpected phone call. The man on the line introduced himself as Tom and invited her to interview for a position at Parker Industries. Shocked and skeptical, Emma asked, "How did you get my number?" "We were recommended by someone who admires your determination," Tom replied cryptically. Confused but desperate for any chance to improve her situation, Emma agreed to the interview. When she arrived at the towering glass building, she felt entirely out of place among the polished professionals. Tom greeted her warmly and led her to a meeting room. "Mr. Parker will be with you shortly," he said. Emma's heart raced. Surely this was a mistake. The CEO himself. Before she could gather her thoughts, the door opened and William walked in. Recognition flashed between them. "You," Emma whispered, barely able to process the sight of the man from the traffic light. William gave a small smile. "I told you I'd help." Emma's disbelief grew as William explained his offer. A job at Parker Industries, starting with administrative work but with the potential to grow. He assured her it wasn't charity, but an acknowledgement of her strength and resilience. "I don't know if I can do this," Emma admitted, her voice trembling with both fear and hope. "You can," William said firmly. "You just need someone to believe in you. And I do." The days that followed were a whirlwind for Emma. The work was challenging, but she applied herself with the same determination that had kept her going through years of hardship. William watched her progress from a distance, impressed by her diligence and inspired by her resilience. Slowly, their conversations became more frequent, evolving from professional discussions to heartfelt exchanges about life, dreams, and struggles. As their bond grew, so did their understanding of each other. Emma saw past William's polished exterior to the man beneath, a man who had achieved everything but lost touch with the simple joys of life. And William saw in Emma a strength that belied her circumstances, a reminder of what truly mattered. One evening, as they left the office together, William offered Emma a ride home. The car ride was filled with a quiet tension, both of them aware that their relationship was evolving into something neither had anticipated. "Emma," William said finally, breaking the silence, "I admire you, not just for your strength but for your heart. You've shown me a side of life I'd forgotten existed." Emma turned to him, her eyes filled with gratitude and confusion. "And you've given me a chance I never thought I'd have." "But why, William? Why me?" He looked at her, his expression earnest. "Because you reminded me of something I'd lost. The belief that one person can make a difference, that kindness matters. You changed me, Emma." Over time, their lives became intertwined, not just professionally but personally. Emma's mother, Mary, received the care she needed thanks to William's quiet support. Emma, in turn, flourished in her role, her confidence growing with each passing day. Their love story wasn't born of grandeur or fairy tale perfection, but of two people finding in each other the courage to dream again. William learned to reconnect with the world beyond his empire, and Emma discovered the strength to pursue the future she had once thought impossible. Together, they proved that love isn't about status or wealth, but about lifting each other up, believing in each other, and building a life of meaning and purpose. And in doing so, they reminded everyone around them that even in the coldest, darkest corners of life, hope can bloom. A new dawn. The days at Parker Industries quickly turned into weeks, and Emma found herself adjusting to a life she never imagined. The sprawling office with its sleek glass walls and buzzing energy felt like another planet compared to the streets where she once stood, selling raffle tickets. Emma was learning fast, pouring her heart into every task she was given. It wasn't just about doing a good job. It was about proving to herself that she was capable. But no matter how much progress Emma made, her heart remained tethered to her modest apartment and her mother, Mary. Mary's condition was worsening, and while the new job provided financial relief, time was slipping away. Emma spent her nights by her mother's side, holding her frail hand and whispering stories of her day, weaving dreams of a future they might never see together. Mary listened with a soft smile, her eyes full of pride, but tinged with unspoken fears. Meanwhile, William Parker struggled with emotions he hadn't felt in years. His world, once governed by cold precision and calculated decisions, had been disrupted by Emma. She had awakened something in him, a longing for connection and a desire to be more than the man in the suit. Yet he knew the path he was treading was precarious. Mixing personal feelings with business was a risk, one that could unravel the carefully built life he had worked so hard to maintain. To distract himself, William threw himself into work, but it was no use. He found excuses to check on Emma's progress, lingering longer than necessary during meetings or asking her opinion on matters well beyond her role. Her honesty and practicality were a refreshing contrast to the polished sycophants he was used to. And though she treated him with respect, she wasn't afraid to speak her mind, a quality that both annoyed and fascinated him. One evening, Emma stayed late to finish an urgent project. The office was quiet, the usual hum of activity replaced by the faint whir of the air conditioning. William, too, was still at his desk, staring blankly at a report he couldn't bring himself to read. After a while, he wandered out, finding Emma in the small break room, sipping lukewarm coffee. "You're still here," he said, leaning against the doorframe. Emma looked up, startled. "I wanted to finish this before tomorrow." William stepped inside, grabbing a bottle of water from the fridge. "You don't always have to push so hard, you know. You're doing well." Emma smiled faintly. "I can't afford not to. Every opportunity matters." Her words hit him harder than he expected. He sat down across from her, studying her face. "You've been through a lot," he said softly. "Most people would have given up." Emma looked away, her fingers tightening around her mug. Giving up was never an option. "My mom, she's all I have. If I don't fight for her, who will?" There was a raw honesty in her voice that made William's chest tighten. He wanted to say something, to offer comfort, but words felt inadequate. Instead, he reached out, his hand brushing hers lightly. The touch was brief, almost accidental, but it carried a weight neither of them could ignore. As weeks turned into months, the bond between Emma and William deepened. It was subtle at first, a shared glance during a meeting, a moment of laughter over a clumsy mistake, a quiet understanding when life's burdens felt too heavy. But with each interaction, their connection grew undeniable. One day, as Emma was organizing files in her small office, she found an envelope addressed to her. Inside was a note in William's handwriting. "Take tomorrow off. Spend it with your mother." Along with it was a voucher for a day-long spa treatment for Mary, something Emma could never have afforded. Tears filled Emma's eyes. She knew William was trying to help without making her feel pitied. She clutched the note tightly, vowing to thank him the next day. That evening, Emma shared the surprise with Mary. The older woman's face lit up with a rare smile as Emma explained the spa day. "You've found someone special, haven't you?" Mary said, her voice soft but firm. Emma blinked in surprise. "What do you mean?" Mary chuckled, though it was faint. "That look in your eyes. I haven't seen it since your father. You may not realize it yet, but your heart's already made up." Emma opened her mouth to protest, but found no words. Was her mother right? Was William more than just her boss, her benefactor? The thought terrified her as much as it thrilled her. For William, the internal battle raged on. His feelings for Emma were growing stronger, but his mind warned him of the consequences. She had already changed him, pushing him to see the world through a different lens. He found himself thinking less about quarterly profits and more about people, about Emma. One evening, after another restless day, he made a decision. He called his assistant, Tom. "I want you to arrange for Mary Thompson to have access to the best medical care available," he said. "Of course, sir," Tom replied. "Should I inform Miss Thompson?" "No," William said quickly. "Let her think it's part of her benefits. She doesn't need to know it came from me." Tom hesitated. "Understood." The next day, Emma received news that left her speechless. A specialist had reviewed her mother's case and offered a treatment plan that could significantly improve Mary's quality of life. The costs were covered entirely by her new health benefits at Parker Industries. Emma broke down in tears, overwhelmed by gratitude and disbelief. She rushed to William's office, bursting through the door before she could second-guess herself. He looked up, startled. "You did this, didn't you?" she demanded, her voice shaking. William leaned back in his chair, his expression unreadable. "It was the company's decision. You've earned it." "Don't lie to me," she said, stepping closer. "Why are you doing all this? Why do you care so much?" For a moment, William said nothing. Then he stood, closing the distance between them. "Because you've shown me what it means to care. You've reminded me what it's like to see the world beyond numbers and profits. You've changed me, Emma." Her breath hitched. The intensity in his eyes was overwhelming, but there was no denying the truth in his words, or in her heart. "I don't know what this is," she whispered, "but I'm scared." "So am I," William admitted. "But sometimes the things that scare us the most are the things worth fighting for." That night marked a turning point. Their relationship, once defined by boundaries, became something deeper. They navigated their new dynamic carefully, aware of the challenges they faced, but unwilling to let fear dictate their choices. As Mary's health improved and Emma grew more confident in her role, their lives began to intertwine in ways neither had expected. They learned from each other. Emma teaching William the value of humility and human connection, and William showing Emma the strength of dreaming big once more. Together, they built a love story not rooted in wealth or status, but in resilience, kindness, and the belief that even the unlikeliest encounters can change lives forever. Their story became a testament to the power of hope, proving that no matter where we come from, we all deserve a chance to shine. Building bridges. Months passed, and Emma's life had undergone a transformation she never could have imagined. She had grown into her role at Parker Industries, earning the respect of her colleagues and even surprising herself with how quickly she adapted to the corporate world. But beyond the office walls, her life was still a delicate balancing act. While her mother's health had stabilized thanks to the new treatments, the specter of uncertainty loomed in the background. For William, life had also changed. His once rigid schedule was now peppered with moments of spontaneity, an evening walk with Emma, a quiet dinner, or simply sitting together in her modest apartment while Mary told stories from her younger days. These moments brought William a sense of fulfillment he had never found in his sprawling penthouse or high-stakes boardroom meetings. Yet for all the happiness they found together, the world outside wasn't as kind. One crisp autumn morning, Emma arrived at the office to find whispers circulating among her coworkers. People exchanged knowing glances and murmurs, and she could feel their eyes on her. As she reached her desk, Tom appeared with an apologetic expression. "Miss Thompson," he said quietly, "Mr. Parker would like to see you in his office." Emma's stomach tightened. She had no idea what to expect, but the tension in the air unnerved her. When she entered William's office, he was standing by the window, his hands in his pockets, looking more pensive than usual. "What's going on?" Emma asked, her voice steady despite the unease bubbling within her. William turned, his expression somber. "There's been speculation," he said carefully. "About us?" Emma frowned. "Speculation?" He nodded. "Word has gotten out about our relationship. Some people are questioning whether your position here is due to merit or favoritism." The words hit her like a blow. She had worked so hard to prove herself, to earn her place, and now her achievements were being overshadowed by rumors. "That's not fair," she said, her voice rising. "I've done everything I could to show I belong here." "I know," William said, stepping closer. "And I've seen how hard you work, but not everyone sees it that way. The board is concerned, and they've brought it to my attention." Emma crossed her arms, her heart pounding. "So what are they saying?" "That I don't deserve to be here. They're saying that our relationship could be seen as a conflict of interest," he admitted, "and they want to make sure the company's reputation isn't compromised." Emma felt anger bubbling beneath the surface. "So, what happens now? Do I lose my job because people can't handle the truth?" "No," William said firmly. "I won't let that happen. But we need to address this carefully. I want to protect you, Emma, your career, your reputation, everything." The weeks that followed were challenging. Emma threw herself into her work, determined to silence the doubts and prove her worth. Meanwhile, William faced mounting pressure from the board to resolve the issue. The strain began to take its toll on both of them, testing their resolve and their relationship. One evening, as they sat together in Emma's apartment, she finally voiced the question that had been gnawing at her. What if they're right? William looked up from the tea he was holding. "Right about what?" "About me," she said quietly. "About us. What if I don't belong in your world?" His brow furrowed. "Emma, don't say that. You've earned everything you've achieved. And as for us, I've never cared about what the world thinks. I care about you." Emma sighed, her gaze dropping to her hands. "It's not just about me, William. It's about my mom, my future. I can't afford to lose this job." William reached for her hand, his touch gentle but firm. "You won't lose it. We'll figure this out. Together." Their solution came in the form of a bold compromise. After careful deliberation, William announced he would temporarily step back from his role as CEO to focus on other ventures within the company. The move was met with surprise and speculation, but it quelled concerns about favoritism and allowed Emma to continue her work without the shadow of their relationship looming over her. The transition was not without its challenges. William struggled to adjust to his reduced role, while Emma worked harder than ever to prove herself. But the experience brought them closer, solidifying their bond as they navigated the storm together. As the months rolled on, Emma's determination paid off. She earned a promotion, and her innovative ideas for streamlining company processes gained recognition from her peers and superiors. Her confidence blossomed, and she began to dream again of designing, creating, and leaving a mark on the world. Mary's health, though still fragile, remained stable. The treatments had given her a new lease on life, and she often reminded Emma of how proud she was. "You've come so far, my girl," Mary would say, her voice filled with love. "And I know you'll go even further." One evening, as the city glittered beneath a star-studded sky, William invited Emma to dinner at a quiet rooftop restaurant. The air was crisp, carrying the scent of autumn leaves, and the city lights stretched out like a sea of possibilities. As they finished their meal, William reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. Emma's breath caught as he opened it, revealing a simple but elegant ring. "Emma," he began, his voice steady but laced with emotion, "you've changed my life in ways I never thought possible. You've shown me the beauty in vulnerability, the strength in kindness, and the power of hope. I can't imagine my life without you. Will you marry me?" Tears filled Emma's eyes as she looked at the man who had once been a stranger at a traffic light and was now the center of her world. She nodded, her voice trembling as she said, "Yes." Their engagement marked the beginning of a new chapter. Together, they became a symbol of resilience and love, proving that even the most unlikely pair could build a life of meaning and purpose. Emma continued to excel in her career, eventually leading projects that combined her love for architecture and innovation. William, inspired by Emma's passion, started philanthropic initiatives aimed at supporting underprivileged communities. Their love story, rooted in humility and determination, became a beacon of hope for others. It reminded the world that bridges could be built between any two people, no matter how different their circumstances. Together, Emma and William proved that love, when nurtured with patience and understanding, could overcome even the greatest of odds and create a legacy that inspired generations to come. The strength of connection. Years passed, and Emma and William's lives evolved in ways they had never imagined. Their journey together had been anything but conventional, yet it was filled with lessons that transformed not only their own lives, but also the lives of those around them. Emma continued to rise in her career, eventually heading a division at Parker Industries that focused on designing sustainable urban spaces. Her dream of becoming an architect was now a reality, and her projects were celebrated for blending innovation with compassion. She ensured that her work always reflected the values she had carried through her hardships: resilience, accessibility, and the importance of community. William, too, underwent a profound transformation. No longer consumed by the endless chase for corporate dominance, he found fulfillment in using his resources to create meaningful change. Together with Emma, he spearheaded initiatives that provided opportunities for those who, like Emma once was, stood at the edge of society, waiting for someone to see their worth. Their relationship deepened with every challenge they faced, and their love grew stronger because it was built on mutual respect and a shared understanding of life's complexities. The simple moments became their most cherished: quiet evenings reading by the fireplace, strolls in the park with Mary, and celebrating milestones not with grandeur but with gratitude. As Mary's health declined further, her final years were filled with comfort and dignity, thanks to Emma and William's unwavering care. On one quiet evening, as Emma sat by her mother's bedside, Mary took her hand and smiled. "You've built a beautiful life, my girl," Mary whispered, her voice frail but steady. "Not just for yourself, but for others. That's the greatest thing any of us can do: use what we have to lift others. You and William have done that. I couldn't be prouder. Mary passed away peacefully soon after, leaving a legacy of love and wisdom that Emma carried with her every day. In the years that followed, Emma and William's story became an inspiration for many. Their tale was shared in business schools, community gatherings, and even by those who had seen Emma standing on the street corner with her raffle tickets years ago. It wasn't a story about wealth or power. It was a story about seeing beyond surface differences, about the courage to take chances on people and dreams, and about the profound impact of kindness. Their experiences taught them, and the world, a few timeless lessons. The power of opportunity. A single chance, given at the right time, can transform someone's life. William's decision to offer Emma a job wasn't just a gesture, it was an investment in her potential. Resilience in adversity. Emma's refusal to give up, even in the face of overwhelming challenges, demonstrated the strength of the human spirit. Her determination was a reminder that difficult times do not define us. How we respond to them does. The importance of compassion. William's journey from a detached CEO to a man who truly cared for others showed the transformative power of compassion. It wasn't his wealth that made a difference. It was his willingness to act with empathy and purpose. Love beyond circumstances. Their relationship proved that love doesn't follow rules or expectations. It grows where understanding, respect, and shared values are nurtured. One sunny afternoon, standing in the heart of a bustling community park they had co-designed, Emma and William watched as children played and families gathered. The park was one of their many projects, a place built for people of all walks of life to come together and feel seen, valued, and connected. As Emma leaned into William, she said softly, "Do you ever think about how far we've come? From a traffic light to this." William smiled, wrapping an arm around her shoulders. "All the time. And I'm grateful every day. You taught me that life isn't about building empires. It's about building bridges." They stood there together, a living testament to the idea that even the smallest acts of kindness can ripple outward, creating change far beyond what anyone might expect. Their story became a reminder to all that the world doesn't need more walls. It needs more bridges, and it starts with each of us choosing to see, to care, and to believe in one another. And so their legacy was not wealth or power, but love and connection. A lesson that, no matter where you begin, it's the choices you make that define the life you create.